Good morning.
Good morning.
So today is our last Sunday of the month of March, and I love that each week we've had the opportunity to share the love, share the light, and share the truth. We've shared the love of this beautiful community. We've shared the light of our individual hearts, illuminating the Center for Spiritual Living, Modesto, our entire community here and beyond. And we've simply shared the spiritual truth that we are here to let God be God as us and in us. The spiritual principles we teach here are absolutely life-transforming. I completely and totally know this and believe this. 2 weeks ago, we explored the one fundamental principle that we really must live from, if we want to make the full use of these teachings. And does anybody remember what that principle was? Okay, we'll get to it. Well, I quoted from Holmes and also the Tao Te Ching. And because they are both so powerful, I want to read both of them again today. First, from Ernest Holmes. There is one mind by which we think, one spirit by which we live, one body of which we are a part, and one light that lights everyone's pathway. One spirit, one mind, one substance. One God in whom we all live, and one law in which we all use. One. One, one, one. That's the magic word right there. The infinite must be one, for there could not be two infinite beings. Whatever change takes place must take place within this one. And from the Tao Te Ching, this world is nothing but the glory of the Tao expressed through different names and forms. One who sees the things of this world as being real and self-existent has lost sight of the truth. To him, every word becomes a trap, and everything becomes a prison. But one who knows the truth and that underlines all things lives in this world without danger. To him, every word reflects the universe, and every moment brings enlightenment. The individual who knows the truth that underlies all things lives in this world without danger. To him, every word reflects the universe, and every moment brings enlightenment. I really, really love that line. And what is the truth that underlies all things? There is only one. There's only one. And that this world and every person, every event, every circumstance, everything that is in this world is the glory of the Tao. Everything is the glory of God expressed through different names and different forms. One spirit, one mind, one substance, one life, one God. And it makes all the difference in the world to understand and to have 100% faith in this truth that underlies everything. It makes all the difference to know that everything is life moving itself forward in expression. The bottom line we focused on 2 weeks ago was this: life is always happening for us and never to us. And the hand that seems to be pushing us is our own hand, because there is only one. Our own hand pushing us for our own unfoldment and evolution. Remember that conversation for those of us who were here? It was kind of a good conversation that we had that Sunday. With our foundation of oneness, I want us to look at some of the words the Master Teacher Jesus spoke. In them, he gave us the formula for living. He pretty much laid it out in this conversation with his disciples. He said, at that very hour, the disciples came up to Jesus and said, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" So Jesus called a little child and made him stand in the midst of him. And he said, "Truly I say unto you, unless you change and become like little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven." Unless we reclaim our innocence, the innocence from which we entered this world, we will not be able to live a fulfilled, joy-filled, spirit-filled life. Holmes speaks to this beautifully when he said, "How we long for a return of that simple trust in life which children have. In their minds there are no doubts. They have not yet been told that they are sinners, destitute of divine guidance and spiritual life. The life of the child is lived in natural goodness. God is natural goodness. The prison walls of false experience soon build themselves into barriers, shutting out the light, and the child grows into a man, often losing his sense of that inner guide, leading his footsteps aright. We must return to the way we came, as little children who know that life is good and is to be trusted. So this morning we're going to look at a few ways we can return to that innocence, to know that life is good and is to be trusted. But before we do that, who remembers Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It was a bit on Saturday Night Live in the 1990s. And there were one-liners notable for their concise humor and their outlandish hypothetical situations. Jack Handey, by the way, is a real person, and he read his deep thoughts on Saturday Night Live. So, while that was popular, there was a newspaper contest where children and young teens were asked to imitate Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey. And I thought I would share a few of them with you to set the tone. So, here's one. I believe that you should live each day as if it were your last, which is why I don't have any clean laundry. Because, come on, who wants to wash clothes on the last day of your life? That was someone who was age 15. Give me the strength to change the things I can, the grace to accept the things I cannot, and the great big bag of money. That was age 13. Democracy is a beautiful thing, except for that part about letting any old person vote. Age 10. I think they're moving towards that in some states. For centuries, people thought the moon was made of green cheese. Then the astronauts found that the moon is really a big, hard rock. That's what happens to cheese when you leave it out. That was age 6. As you make your way through this hectic world of ours, set aside a few minutes each day. At the end of the year, you'll have a couple of days saved up. Age 7. And finally, the only stupid question is the one that is never asked. Except maybe, don't you think it's about time you audited my return? Or isn't it morally wrong to give me a warning when in fact I was speeding? Those are questions you don't ask, right? Age 15. So this is pretty good wisdom, right? From teenagers and below. Well, let me give you a little bit more. We're going to look at bye-bye wisdom, all gone wisdom, and whoopsie wisdom. All right, first, bye-bye wisdom. Part of growing up is learning the delicate balance of being dependent and independent, and then returning to interdependent. Note that I did not say codependent. Rather, interdependent, where we get to realize that we are one. Where did we hear that before? And therefore we must do this dance of life together. And it works the best when we do it in that healthy way of give and take. Serving and being served. Supporting and being supported. Standing in our own personal strength and power. And celebrating others doing the same thing. You see the flow? The ebb and flow. That's interdependence. That is also called Sangha. And we talked about that last week. Remember, we talked about Sangha? But before we even getting to the interdependence, children can go through some separation anxiety because they're so dependent on their parents. Anyone remember either going to school for the first time and not wanting your parents to leave you there? Do you remember doing that when you went to school? Or being the parent with your little one and not, and you didn't want to leave. You didn't want to leave your child there. I have felt both of those.
I think I got dropped off.
What?
I think I got dropped off.
Well, I remember both of those situations. I had a couple of children that it was like, it's okay. I had to kind of coax them to go, and
I jumped back in the window of my mom's car.
Oh, see, and then I had one child who was like, bye, Mom. And wait, hug? Oh, okay, bye. So yeah, I experienced both of those. It was kind of interesting. So sure, there is a difficult transition for children, and ultimately and ideally, children do learn the bye-bye wisdom, right? Which means that they learn that they are so loved, they're so cared for, that even if their parents leave them from a time, they're so secure, they know that they're going to be back. And with this, they're able to say bye-bye, and they know that they're not really being left. They're not really being abandoned. So that's pretty profound wisdom for our lives, okay? So how many times in our lives would this innocent stance serve us? Maybe when a job ends, maybe unexpectedly. Maybe when a relationship ends. When a certain life experience takes a different turn than we're expecting. What if we could simply say bye-bye to that piece of our life, realizing that we are so loved and so protected and so provided for that all is well? Not by our earthly parents, who may or may not have done an ideal job of that, but by the very essence of life itself. I love the words from Charles Fillmore. He was the co-founder of Unity, and in his talks on truth, he says, well, and I've tweaked them a little bit to bring them into a little more modern, because some of these folks wrote in a way that are a little post or pre-modern, right? So this is a little more understandable. He says, the love of God for his children is beyond description. A love so tender and so deep that it cannot be mentioned in the same breath with the ordinary love as known by the world. The great love of being is deeper and wider than the thoughts of all the words humankind has understood since the beginning of language. It can only be known. It can be known only on its own plane, and we must awaken within ourselves through our own childlike, innocent hearts a capacity to feel how great is the love of God. When we return with a childlike innocence to the love of the infinite for itself as us, then we can say bye-bye with ease and grace to events, possessions, experiences, and yes, even people that leave us. We can let go of the grip because we are so enveloped in love that we are assured that we are cared for and we are provided for and we are protected. And following immediately on the heels of bye-bye wisdom is all gone wisdom. When a little one finishes a yummy meal, he often looks up and says, all gone. We taught our children to do that. Before they could even speak, we taught them, all gone, all done, with sign language. And there's a joy and an innocent kind of gratitude in this expression. And this child, when it's all gone, all done, he's ready to receive whatever's next, right? He finished whatever he had, and he's ready to move on to the next experience. And as adults, we can believe that more is better and become far too concerned with not having enough of something. Maybe it's money or love or material possessions. And so we can get very clingy and very, very possessive and very stingy. We can forget the all-gone wisdom we had as children, which knows that when something is over, a space for something new is being created. Joyful anticipation beats dreaded worry. Don't you think? Okay, thank you. It's freezing. Thank you, Suzanne. Joyful anticipation beats dreaded worry. You will find that this process of staying open will bring much more prosperity to your life than worrying about not having enough or losing what you have. Remember holding on to sand? The tighter you hold on to it, the more of it just slips right through your fingers. It's easier to keep your hands open for more to come. I have a minister friend of mine who tells the story of a time that she spent in Bali. One afternoon, she put on her bathing suit, tucked in her room key in what she thought was a safe place in her bathing suit, and went out into the ocean. You know where this is going, don't you? When she got out of the ocean, she dried off and headed back to her room, where she discovered, much to her dismay, that her room key was not there. So, there she was at a choice point. She could get upset with herself for not putting the key in a safer place. She could get mad at the darned ocean for taking it from her and feel like a victim of circumstances. Or she could say, all gone, and simply go get another key. She chose, of course, the third route. After all, she's in paradise. She's in Bali, right? And she wasn't going to let a silly thing like losing a key take her away from her experience of this beautiful, beautiful paradise. So she released the key and she went about her business. And the very next day, she and a group of others were standing in the ocean in a circle doing a beautiful ceremony when suddenly, out of nowhere, a room key floated into the circle. And of course, it was her room key. Just kind of came into their circle. When we say all gone, with one experience, relationship, job, way of being, whatever it might be, shifts and changes, we open ourselves to receive the next great experience of our lives. I know that's a tough one for me because there are a lot of things that I'm enjoying so much And I don't want them to be over. It's hard when things that you love and people that you love and experiences that you love are, I think Christmas, I think holidays, things that are, family together or just, a good time with friends. You want it to go on forever. And I think we tend to forget that there's still more to come. So finally, we have whoopsie wisdom. Okay. Given a loving environment, when a toddler makes a mistake, and they don't really make a big deal out of it, right? They usually respond with something like, whoopsie, they fall down or they bump into something. And once you begin to realize that God loves you, no matter what, you will be able to make mistakes more in stride. The knowledge that you are loved provides tremendous freedom to grow. Author and statesman Hugh White said this: when you make a mistake, don't look back at it for very long. Take the reason of the thing into your mind and then look forward. Mistakes are lessons of wisdom. The past cannot be changed. The future is what is yet in your power. And of course, where is our power? In this present moment. So that's when we make these decisions. Every one of us makes some mistakes, and probably most often, every day, there are a few. If we take a moment, we can learn from our mistakes without dwelling on them. We don't have to stay in that place. When you make a mistake, don't look at it for very long. Mistakes are lessons on wisdom. Take the lesson and then go on forward. Or as James Joyce said, mistakes are the portals of discovery. The next time you make a mistake and are tempted to be hard on yourself, instead say, whoopsie, and don't allow your mistake to weigh you down. Say whoopsie and just move on. My favorite quote about mistakes came from Thomas Edison. He said, when inventing the light bulb, I never made a mistake. It was just a 1,000-step process. Because here's the deal. When you fall forward, at least you are headed in the right direction. So today we return to innocence, that open, receptive place where we give spirit room, fertile soil, in fact, to work in, through and as our lives. Based on the foundation of oneness, we let go of the struggle that these three pieces of wisdom are that we're talking about this morning. We have bye-bye wisdom, knowing that we are so infinitely loved by the Mother, Father, God of our being that we can say goodbye to our earthly experiences and then live from all gone wisdom, knowing that when we let go, we open ourselves to receive that which is even greater. And when along the way we take a spill, then whoopsie wisdom comes into play, knowing that everything we perceive to be a mistake is simply a step on the infinite journey of our souls. Which one of these places of innocence would serve you most this morning? Let's find out. Breathe in the deepest and highest way you can feel the love of God. Open your heart in childlike innocence to a power of 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 times 100,000 times 100,000 times greater than anything you have ever experienced, and know that this is just a taste of the love of God for us, itself in expression. And from this space, if there's something in your life that is left or is leaving, and it has your claw marks on it, can you release it right now? Right here? Can you release that right here and now? Breathe and release. Breathe and release. Say bye-bye. And then in the next breath, take into heart the sweet wisdom of all gone, which opens a space for something greater and even greater to walk into your life. Finally, are you today beating yourself up on a slip or a fall or a mistake? Is there something that's happened in your life that you keep returning to? Just allow yourself, every time that thought comes into your mind, just go whoopsie and carry on. Knowing you are definitely divinely loved, cared for, and supported in every area of your life, today and always. And so it is.